Hello, it's me, Josh Hunter. I'm here on the planet Earth, and not quite sure how this video is going to go. It's kind of risky, if I'm not mistaken, but gotta figure out the climate, and not sure when people are telling me the truth, so sometimes I have to say things which are somewhat extravagant in order, in order to know, the truth. If I need to know it anyway. So, okay. First thing I'd like to bring up is I should have researched this. I didn't. I could just stop this video and record, or maybe I could stop recording this video and go research it. But let's just. All right. I noticed that I believe there's this type of I think it's like a ram's horn or something, and it's called like a. I could be mispronouncing this, but it's used in some religious ceremonies, and it's called a chauffeur, or like a chauffeur, or something. And the whole point of this horn is to confuse the devil. So when people when they blow this horn, it's meant to make the devil confused and be unsure, I suppose. And so I've made a connection. It's just a very slight connection. I mean, it's not, I just have a question. I'm not supposing anything. I'm not making any assumptions. I just want to know if there is a connection here, what does this mean? So as you know, in my previous video, or one of my previous videos, I said, okay, well, why is Earth Day on the same day as, the Prophet Muhammad's birthday? Like, what's that? And I presumed that the Prophet Muhammad is not supposed to be drawn or depicted because Prophet Muhammad is the earth. And I'm assuming at the time of the creation of the religion of Islam that no one could possibly see the earth, so you could not depict the Prophet Muhammad. And maybe the translation isn't don't depict, but you cannot depict the Prophet Muhammad. That's my assumption anyway. So I made another connection, but I'm not sure. It doesn't seem as strong as this one. So with regards to a chauffeur is meant to, I'm not going to do it. I can't. It's too, I mean, it's too risky. I didn't even try to research. I don't mind looking like an idiot, but it could, okay. So, I've been having, let's see, lately, like I said, for some reason, like over the past month, 2 months, I don't know, maybe it's coronavirus related, but a lot of people, like when I don't know what's going on, but like specifically, like people just when they get like really upset, some people they just like to use the N-word. Like it's just like they're upset and they're like N-word, and I'm here on the promenade, very often, and probably about once a week, at least once a week, someone will be like walking up and down the street, up and down the promenade, screaming something N-word. And it happens with frequency. I think, I don't know, like maybe I missed something. Maybe there's some memo that I didn't get. And I have not typically had a problem, and with that type of racism, because to me that's just like someone upset about something else, and they don't know how to deal with it. Sometimes they are actually a racist, but to me it's just kind of I don't know. I guess I'm more familiar with the darker racism that people aren't particularly familiar with. And so like saying the N-word, that's like small time, I don't. It's like okay, you're just a baby, So then a couple of nights ago I was sitting down and I overheard someone having a conversation, and apparently this lady, she obviously wasn't from Santa Monica, but she was saying like, oh yeah, could definitely be paraphrasing. And maybe I misheard. It sounded pretty clear to me. But she was saying something like, I've been, like she was glad to no longer have to be forced to hang out with like, you know, black people and Hispanics or something. And and she was like, man, yeah, I've been trying to like see, since I've been down here, I haven't been able to find enough white guys. Like, where are all the white guys? you know. And like I said, I just happened to hear it, and to me, I don't know if that's like, I mean, that it still might be about something else, but to me, I think that's closer to actual racism than just like, saying the N word, getting upset and saying, because there's a calmness in it. It's a much calmer racism, which is what you need to be looking out for. Okay, like someone like screaming is not that someone screaming is like, man, you N-word this and all right. If it comes to physical violence, then sure, like that's you should probably deal with that. But what you need to keep your eye out for, socially at least, is that calm racism where there's no, if there is hate, it is so, I mean, the hate is so far away, or buried, or covered, or muddled. I don't know what it is, but I mean, it's darker, and I think you need to, you know. So anyway, later on, I was walking around, and I want this on. I want to just make a note to remind myself of this, because I had the opportunity to say something, because I was walking by and I saw her, and I was gonna say like, did you find all the white guys that you were looking for? Oh shit, that might be kind of loud. Sorry. But I decided not to, because even if I was justified in saying so, my personal motivation would have been incorrect. The standard that I hold myself to is, if you're going to say something like that, it should be for a good reason. It shouldn't be like just, you know, the reason why at that time, the only reason why I would have said it was just to make her feel stupid. The desire behind it was a desire to make her feel stupid. And if I were to keep doing things just because I wanted to make people feel stupid, then what would my life become? And that was the question that I asked myself. I was like, yeah, I could say this and like feel like cool or whatever, but if I just kept on doing that, if I were the type of person who's like, oh man, I love making people feel stupid, then what must become of me? And since I didn't have a good answer to that, I decided not to say it, and I just kept on walking. And I don't know what my obligations are at this point, but anyway. And then there's this guy earlier. He was filling up like a bottle of water. So this is also on the promenade. He was filling up a bottle of water and then just like pouring it into the street. Just so he would fill a bottle of water and then pour it into the street, pour it into the gutter. And I'm right at the Stegosaurus, so it's right where the road splits. And he was just he was getting water and pouring it into the street. And I was like, all right. And there was no reason, I guess. So then I got up and I went up to him like, excuse me, sir. Is there any reason why you feel like it's a good idea to be wasting water like this? And like I said, anytime I bring up something which is actually important, people they get very hostile. Because even if we have lots, so I said to him, okay, is there any reason why you have decided to waste water and just throw it on the ground like this? And he said, oh, I could do, what did he say? He said, the water goes into like the drain and then it goes into the ocean, and then, there's a recycling process, so I can't waste water because the water stays here. And so technically he is right. But drinkable water is not necessarily something that happens. Having water that you can drink and use easily is not perhaps, so easily manufactured. And then, I was like, and then this always happens. And well, not always happen, but these start getting not hostile, but just like, well, you just leave me alone, man. I answered your question, man. Just leave me alone. I found it offensive. I found it offensive, since we are even if this like coronavirus thing is like just fake or a hoax or a placebo, even if the whole thing is engineered, it is still an offense to the possibility that we could be wrong about it. Okay, it's an offense to we could potentially be on the precipice on the end of some parts of our society, and to be just like sitting here, throwing water into the gutter like that, it's disrespectful and it's offensive. And so, I had to say something, and then, well, he walked away, and I used some foul, I used some foul language, and and he said, "Hey, don't you swear at me? Don't watch your language." And I said, "It is as or more offensive for me to use foul language as it is for you to just throw water into the street like this. Like, what makes you think that we're always going to have drinkable water? What makes you think that we could not very soon come into a situation?" I said, do you realize that if you had ever, because I can tell that you've never been very thirsty. Anyone who had ever been very thirsty would never do anything like that. Anyone who had ever experienced real thirst, like not being able to have any water whatsoever, could not possibly. And like I said, I consider most people on Earth pretty spoiled. I try not to say that with any kind of unpleasant connotations. And this is a judgment. It is a criticism. I probably could be less judgmental, but I am. I'm being judgmental, and it seems like a kind of spoiled way to act, or ungrateful, I guess. Maybe not spoiled, but ungrateful. And so he was like, "Well, you watch your mouth." So he said, "You watch your mouth." I'm like, "You fucking kidding me? I could sit here all day saying the worst fucking curse and swear words that anybody has ever said, and it is not nearly as disrespectful and as ungrateful as just to throw water, to fill up drinking water in a water bottle and throw it into the street. Like like this is all guaranteed. Like the supplies and resources that we have are guaranteed. Like that there's that much lack of seriousness in your life. I had to do something, and so I told him. I said, "No, you gotta walk away." I mean, I didn't say you have to walk away. I said, I just asked him, "Tell me the reason why you're doing this." And he said the reason was he wanted to see which way the water was going. That's why he was doing it. Because if you go down the water, it can either go to the right or to the left or whatever. And to me, that was absurd. I don't care what your fucking experiment is. You just... And this is like a Santa Monica thing. Like, this is definitely, like... I haven't seen that type of behavior in a lot of places, but the city of Santa Monica, like I said, these people... the city itself may actually be, like, just a generally handicapped city. Like, and that could just be it. Just the city itself is a handicap. And so that's why I'm saying I don't want to be judgmental. It may just be something about being in this city just makes you, unable to understand certain things. They accuse me of stealing electricity sometimes when I use the outlets in the parking lots. And throughout this entire coronavirus, every fucking light in every fucking store has been on for 24 hours every day. And they accuse me of stealing electricity, and they're literally just wasting electricity. And they say, "Oh, we don't want you stealing it, but we will waste the shit out of it." That's Santa Monica. So I don't want to be critical if, like, it was like a serious thing. Like, literally, like, the people who are here could not help but be in this way. Fucking tired, dude. Really tired. My sleep deficit, we're going on years of, like, lack of sleep. I'm surprised. Like, I don't know what's keeping me, like, alert, and I don't use meth or no-dose or any of the fucking things that are supposed to, like, keep you going. I don't know. Maybe I am a robot. I've been acting kind of tough lately. Smoking a lot of cigarettes lately. Oh, shit. All right. Thanks for watching.